There are murders born from greed, some from revenge, and then there are murders that come quietly, disguised as love. In love stories, people promise forever. In this one, forever lasted just a few seconds. Police arrived expecting a domestic argument. Instead, they found a young man lying silent, and a story no one was ready to hear. Some tragedies roar in with warning signs. Others arrive quietly, in the space between two heartbeats. Colby Vinson's story belongs to the quiet kind. A young American man, steady, reserved, kind to a fault, the kind of person who tried his best to keep the peace in any room he entered. And then there was Rachiel Moore, emotional, intense, unpredictable, a woman carrying storms inside her that no one fully understood. Their story wasn't about gang violence. It wasn't a roadside attack. It wasn't a stranger slipping into the shadows of their home. It was something far more intimate, a relationship slowly unraveling until one night, the thread finally snapped. Roll the silence. Let the truth begin. Every American neighborhood has that one couple that looks picture perfect from the outside. Always smiling in photos, always posting small adventures, always looking like things are fine. Colby and Rachiel looked like that couple. They shared a modest apartment, a simple routine, and a life built on everyday moments. Morning coffees, work shifts, weekend plans, but behind closed doors, their relationship operated on uneven ground. Colby was the calm one, the kind of man who swallowed stress instead of sharing it. He avoided conflict, avoided escalation, tried to soothe everything instead of confronting anything. Rachiel was the opposite. Her emotions swung fast, affection turning to anger, jealousy turning to fear, fear turning to volatility. Friends later described her as someone who felt everything too much. This wasn't a toxic breakup waiting to happen. This was a pressure buildup waiting for a spark. And the closer they got, the hotter that pressure became. It happened late, one of those nights where the world outside is completely still. Neighbors reported hearing raised voices, not screaming, just rising tension. A conversation that shifted from frustration to anger, to something sharper. Colby wasn't someone who yelled, so when his voice was heard at all, even slightly raised, people took notice. Inside that apartment, investigators later reconstructed the timeline. Something ignited the argument. Maybe jealousy, maybe insecurity, maybe one of those unresolved issues that couples stack silently until it finally tips over. The argument escalated. Rachiel, emotional, reactive, spiraled out of control. Colby tried calming things down, tried stepping away, tried breathing space, but anger doesn't care about logic, and emotional instability doesn't slow down once it gets momentum. Moments later, everything went quiet. When police entered the dim, small bedroom, they didn't find chaos. They found stillness. Colby on the floor, motionless, the air heavy, the scene frozen, and Rachiel shaking, sobbing, repeating, "I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to."
Her voice broke the silence of a moment that could never be undone. Investigators started peeling back the layers. This wasn't planned. This wasn't calculated. This wasn't premeditated. This was rage. Quick, violent, unfiltered friends later told investigators that Rachiel had a history of emotional volatility, explosive reactions, sudden meltdowns, moments where she couldn't control what she said or what she did. Colby, on the other hand, always tried to manage it. He didn't yell back. He didn't fight fire with fire. He tried to calm storms that were never his responsibility to handle. But the human mind has limits, and so does the heart. That night, the mixture of emotional instability, fear, and anger caused something inside her to break. One action, one instant, one irreversible moment. And suddenly, Colby's life, the quiet, gentle life he lived, was gone. When police questioned her, Rachiel didn't put on an act. She didn't deny what happened. She didn't build some elaborate excuse. Her guilt wasn't verbal. It was written across her face, in her sobs, in the shock of realizing what she'd done. Paramedics tried everything. They worked quickly, aggressively, the way they always do when time is running out. But the damage was too severe. Colby was beyond saving. The apartment didn't look like a crime scene. No smashed furniture, no signs of an intruder, no signs of struggle that went on for minutes. It all happened in a flash, a snap, A single emotional explosion that took a life and shattered another. For investigators, this case wasn't a whodunit, it was a why. Why did love turn into fear? Why did fear turn into violence? Why did a moment override a lifetime? Those answers died in that room. When the news broke, shockwaves rolled through the community. People who knew Colby described him the same way every time. Gentle, low-key, extremely patient, always willing to help. People who knew Rachiel described her differently. Emotional, unpredictable, passionate, but unstable. The tragedy became a mirror reflecting something many couples silently face: the danger of ignoring emotional volatility, the danger of normalizing instability, the danger of believing love alone can fix someone who refuses to fix themselves. Colby never saw himself as a victim. He never realized he was walking on emotional glass. He never imagined the person he cared for would be the person who ended his life. But that's the terrifying truth about cases like this. The biggest threats aren't always masked strangers. Sometimes they're the people who say, "I love you," right before everything falls apart. Colby's death is more than a crime scene. It's a quiet, brutal lesson about emotional instability, unchecked rage, and how relationships can collapse violently when one person carries a storm inside them. He didn't die in an alley. He didn't die running from danger. He died in his own home, next to the person he trusted. In a moment that neither of them could take back, love can protect. But when twisted the wrong way, it can destroy with breathtaking speed, fade to black. Let the silence speak.